everyone, I'm Simeon and you're welcome to Kharis tutorials. We're going to be making those beautiful jumpsuits, and it's a sit back and high neck. The neck has no joining. But wait, have you seen my movie The Benefactor? If you're yet to see the movie, I want you all to show some love by watching The Benefactor on Niger in TV. The link is on the description below. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, I would like you to subscribe. Click the bell as well to get notified each time I upload a new video. So we're going to be needing the measurements like the underbust, half length, the full length of our jumpsuit. We need the shoulder, we need the bust circumference, underbust circumference, the waist circumference, and the hip circumference measurement. So let's move to the cutting table. Welcome to class. I'm so excited, especially for this particular style that we're going to be making. First, I'll be drafting out the basic bodice, which is the half length, and I'm going to try and make this very simple. I'm going to take it very simple. Okay, the first thing, here's my pattern. I am just going to draw my borderline straight down. Then we are going to take 1 inch first from the top. Here's my 1 inch, and then we'll reel it out. Then from this 1 inch, I'm going to mark my half length, which is 15 inches, and excuse me, half an inch for my sewing allowance. The underbust length is 12.5, half an inch for the sewing, and the armhole length of 8.5 inches, which is constant. But if you are working with a plus size measurement, you can go with 9.5. I mean, if you're working with a large size, this a medium size, if you're working with a large size measurement, you go with 9 or 9.5 inches. Then for smaller size, you go with 8 or 7.5 inches. Okay, now we have shoulder divided by 2. So my measurement is starting from the borderline. Shoulder is 14 divided by 2 is 7 inches. Here's my 7 inches. And then I'm going to take the bust circumference measurement below this 8.5 inches. Now the bust measurement is 34. I'm going to add 4 inches, and that will give us 38, and I'll divide the sum by 4, and that will give us 9.5 inches. Now this 4 inches is because I'll not be adding lining to my dress. But if I'm working with Ankara fabric, for instance, where you'll be needing lining, or any material that requires lining, you can go with 8 inches. All right, so it will be your 34 plus 8. You get 44, then divided by 4. I mean, you get 42, then divided by 4 will be 10.5 inches. So this 34 plus 4 divided by 4, it's still the same as 34 divided by 4 plus 1, while 34 plus 8 divided by 4 is same as 34 divided by 4 plus 2 inches. So you can go with whatever method or whatever calculations you want to go with. Now the bust measurements from our calculation is 9.5 inches, and here is my 9.5 inches. This is the underbust. Here is the underbust line, and here is our half length. So the underbust circumference is going to be below the underbust length, and the underbust circumference is 26. Now plus 4 will give us 30, and divided by 4 will give us 7.5. Here is my 7.5 inches. To connect this now, Now the next thing we're going to take note is, if you are working with if you want your jumpsuit to be with sleeve, you're good with this measurement. But if you want it to be sleeveless, you need to come up by 1 inch. So your bust goes like this, and then instead of your armhole coming like this, it goes like this. The midpoint for our 8.5 is 4.25, and then we're going to come in by 0.5. So to connect from the shoulder, it goes like this. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the neckline. I'll be working with the width. Now has to do with your choice. If you want to go with 2.5 or 3 inches, here is my 3 inches, which I am going to extend to the top. I'm going to extend it to the top. Then from this point, I am going to slant to the shoulder, just like this. So if I'm going to cut, I will cut this line, then it continues like that. Now, in case you want the top parts of your, that's the bodice. Now, in case you want it to be free, you can add the allowance to it. You can add the allowance of 1 inch to your measurement. That's if you want to go with a free measurement. So that's if you want to go with a free measurement, it goes like this, like that. And for now, we are done with the half length, so we can cut. Now, to draft out the back, all I need to do is place whatever I have here, and then I'm going to add allowance. That's if you want the zipper to be at the back, you're going to add the zipper allowance to it here at the back. And in case you want your zipper by the side, you just place your pattern to cut the same thing you have here. But in case you want the zipper at the back, it means you'll be adding 2 inches or even 1.5 inches here at the back. So what we are going to do is place our pattern on our main fabric. Here is the front and here is the back. Like I said, if you want your zipper at the back, you have to go with this, but in case you want your zipper by the side, just go with whatever you have here on the front part of your pattern. Now for this pattern, it means you are good. If you are good with this and you're going to be adding sleeve to it, fine. You are good with whatever pattern that we have drafted out. But remember that your 1 inch will not be coming up, but because it's a sleeveless bodice, that's why we had to come up by 1 inch. Now because it's going to be a C back, first we're going to reduce the shoulder measurements. We're going to reduce by, you can come in as much as you want. So I'm coming in by 1 inch and then 1 inch. So if you still want this to go in like 1.5 inches or thereabouts, you can do that as well. So for me now, this is 1 inch and 1.5. Then I'm going to go back to my shoulder. So you just connect it back to the shoulder measurement. If you still want to go in more than, make sure it's at the midpoint. You know, we took we had a 8.5 and then we have 4.25 here. So if you are coming in, your 1.5 inches should be at that midpoint so that it goes in like this. Then you can connect with your armhole. So I'm going to do the same here. Like I said, because it's a sleeveless, now we have to come in by 1 inch. And for the C back, first we took 8.5 inches, which our midpoint is 4.25. Now on the 4.25, we came in by 1.5 inches, and I said you can still go in by 2 inches if you want. If you want it to really go in, you can always go in depending on the measurement you want to go with. So I am going to connect like this, then I'll connect back to the armhole. So you can just find your way. Please, if you are drafting it out, I'll prefer you go with your pencil. I'm trying to use this so you can see clearly. So you can go with your pencil so that if, in case you need to erase, it will be easier. So our new armhole is this. Now note that we came up by 1.5. we came up by 1 inch from the actual measurement. If you still want your C back to come, that's at the armhole part, if you still want it to be at 8.5 inches, you are good to go. It still does not affect anything. And if you want it to go up, you can leave it at 7 inches. So for me now, I'm going to bring it to the 8.5 inches. I'm fine with 8.5. If you want to bring it as low as 9 inches, you can still do that as well. So I'll be cutting it from, here is my 8.5 inches. So I'm still going to connect to that 8.5 inches. I'm actually taking it gradually depending on your choice now. Sure, we can see this. If you still want it to go down to like 9 inches, you're good to go as well. You can do that. So our C back has been drafted out. I'm just going to place this on my pattern to cut for the front and also for the back. The next thing is cutting the base of our jumpsuits, and here's my fabric. So what I'll do first is to fold a single flare, which is like this. I have a tutorial on this particular trouser. It's flare trouser. You can search for it, how to cut flare trouser, so that you can have an idea. Now, having folded my single flare, I am also going to fold into 2 again. I folded the flare. It's a single flare, but it's folded into 4. Remember the way I folded it. First I folded my single flare, and let me use the pattern so we can understand. First I folded my single flare, then I folded the single flare into 2 again. So it's way different from me folding a double flare. You can watch my tutorial on how to cut different types of flare so you can have better understanding. If it were to be a double flare, you know, I'll first fold into 2 before I fold my single flare, but here that's not the case. I folded a single flare and then I folded the single flare again. So that's what I did here. Now back to our measurement. We already cut out 15 inches for the half bodice, and the full length I'm working with is 56 inches. So cutting out 15, we are left with 41 inches, which is the length. Now from the half length to the waist, the distance, we have to get the distance between the half length and the waist measurements, you know, like we having a normal a basic trouser. So for me it is 5 inches. That's the distance. The distance for me is 5 inches. So you have to measure to get yours. That's one. Then to get the crotch length, we use the hip, which is 36 divided by 4, that is 9, plus 1, and that is 10. That's the crotch length. Now for our normal a basic trouser, we need to also work with the ease. It helps to separate your leg like an extension. So the ease measurements, you can work with 3, 3.5, 4, or even 4.5 for a plus size. Now for this measurement, I'll be going with 3.5 for the ease measurement. Now the ease is going to take effect on the crotch point, and that will now be 10. That's the hip measurement. Sorry, the hip measurement is 36, and divided by 4 plus 1 will give us 10 inches, which is the same as 36 plus 4, that's 40, divided by 4, that's 10. So it will be 10 plus my 3.5 inches, and that will give us 13.5 inches. So we need those 5 inches. That's the distance between the half length and the waist. We need the 10 inches, which is the crotch length. We also need the 13.5 inches at the crotch point. Now moving to the trouser part of our jumpsuit, what we're going to be taking at this point is going to be the waist measurement. This is where we are attaching to the waist measurement, and of course that's that's 26 plus 4 divided by 4, and that gives us 7.5 inches. So I need to confirm my 7.5 inches at this point, so that from that waist, that from the end of the half length, the distance between that and the waist where our jumpsuit is to start is, where our normal trouser, where we place our basic trouser. Now the distance between the half length and the waist is 5 inches. So here is my 5 inches, and from the waist, the crotch length from our calculation is 10 inches. So here is my 10 inches. So what I'll just do is from this point, that's from where the half length to the 10 inches where I marked, I have 15 inches. So the 15 inches is what I'll take round. Now remember, this is our crotch length from the waist, from our basic waist. This is our crotch length, and we said the ease of 3.5 inches will take effect on this point. So that will give us 13.5. So I need to confirm if 13.5 is what I have here. Here I have 12.5 inches. So I can just go down by half an inch. You can go down by half an inch. You can go down by 1 inch until you have the accurate measurement that you need. So I'm confirming again until I have my 13.5 inches. Now, this is going to be my crotch points. Now that the measurement has changed, I need to as well come down here by half an inch. The half an inch that I used here, I need to come down by half an inch on those points as well. So let's cut. So now all my measurements is going to start from here. So the remaining measurements that we need to complete the length is 41 inches. So I'm going to take the length of 41. So that's the length of 41 inches. And I'm cutting below the chalk because of course I need allowance to fold. Just need to anyways. Coming back to this point, we are going to measure the hip. Here, remember we added 3.5 inches, which is the his measurement. So we need to measure that, and here is my 3.5 inches. Now the hip measurement is 10 inches. Remember, it's not a straight measurement like this. It has to be curved. Now what I'm going to do is from my crotch extension, I am going to connect to the top just to create the crotch shape. You can see. Now I'm going to separate the legs. So this is how the trouser parts of the jumpsuit is going to look like. Here is the crotch area. So I'm just going to slit the sides because of the pockets. Now, we are going to be joining the crotch parts here for both the front and the back, and then we have it opened like this so that we already cut out the front and the back. So I'm going to place the front on the front to the front, and the back to the back. Here is the back. So for the back, I have to make it each piece just like this so that I can leave my zipper space. Okay, so the pockets now, the measurement for a basic pocket is 14 inches by 14 inches, but for this size usually I use 12 inches by 12 inches. So here is my 12 inches by 12 inches. All right, so now the first thing we are going to be doing is, like I said, I am going to join the crotch parts of the front. I'm going to join this crotch part. Then I'll attach the half length. That's the basic bodice. I'm going to attach the basic bodice to it like this. Then I'll do that of the back as well. Right now, we have joined the half bodice, that's the basic bodice, to the base for both the front and the back. Now the next thing we are going to do is first cut out a facing. Here it is. All you just need to do is place your fabric and trace out the neck area of your dress so that you can have it. So I'll be placing it from the front part like this, in order to use it to turn the edge here at the top. And I'll use my hemming gum, and if you want to use your needle and thread, you can use that to hold it here at the edge of the front. This is the front part. Then for that of the back, I have already placed my fabric as well, so which I'm going to run the same thing here on the neckline, just to turn it with my facing. After that has been done, we are then going to bring out the shape from the side. Now here you can first decide to turn in the armhole, and you can decide to join first, but for me, I'm going to bring out the shape here on the side first. That means I'm going to measure out the bust circumference divided by 2, the other bust circumference divided by 2, like that, to the waist. Then of course we know it's flay at the base of the trouser. So I'm just going to continue that. Now, because of our pockets, we're going to measure the pocket mouth. Let's use the front part so it will be easier. From the top, I'm going to take, you can measure to the length where it will be convenient for you. Usually it's around 17, 18, 16, depending on the length, the height. So for this now, we're going with 17 inches. So here is my 17 inches, which I'm going to notch. And at the same time, if you want to hold it together with the half length, you can do that as well. So the pocket mouth now is 7 inches, but for this size, I'll be using 6 inches. You can as well use 6.5. For me, I'll be using 6 inches. So here is the 6 inches, which I have notched at the same time. So now the pockets, my pocket is on the machine, so let me just use this to explain. Now here's the pocket. What we are going to do is, I'm going to take 1 inch. I'm going to take 1 inch here on the pocket, and I'll notch. Just measure 1 inch at this point, at this upper part of the pocket, and notch. Now this notched part and the notched part here, I'm going to bring the two to align, just like this. Then I am going to run the sewing from this notched part to the other notched part of my trouser. That's on the front part. Then we place the back in order to do the same, still on this side. So I'm going to place the back, the other side of the pocket. I'm also going to place it on the notched parts, and I'll join it straight down to the other part of the notched part. So while I'm joining now, while bringing out the shape, I'm going to measure the bust circumference. I'm going to continue the sewing until I get to the notched part here. So I'm going to leave the space. So my sewing will continue and stop here where I notched. Then I'll leave the pocket mouth in order to continue the joining here below the other notched parts. Then I'll continue the joining so that I can easily come back to fix the pocket the way I have rightly explained, which is joining the notched parts to the notched parts, and as well the other side of the pocket. So let's do that to the both sides. I'm going to do that here on the right hand side and on the left hand side. I'll come back to see how it is before we continue. All right, now you can see I have turned the armhole with a piece of fabric, which I am going to hem. And like I said as well, the pocket has been fixed, so we only need to close up the rest of the pocket. And also I am going to stitch this to the side, so you can just form pleats, something like this, on the top part of the pocket in order to hold it firm. The same thing is what I have done on the other side. And the zipper has been fixed as well, so we are left with the base. What we are going to do now is to fold the edge, and I'm going to start joining from the base here all through to the end of the other side of the leg, and that will be the end of our tutorial. So you can go ahead and try it on. Remember to leave your comments in the comment section, and if this is your first time on this channel, click the subscribe button. Remember to click the bell too to get notified each time I upload a new video. Till I see you next class. Bye.